Okay, beta. So the second chapter of computer is computer languages, right? So in this chapter, we are going to discuss what are programs, machine language, assembly language, high-level language, interpreter and compiler, as well as fourth generation languages. Before starting, what is a program? First, let us discuss what is a language. Language is basically a medium to express our views and feelings, right? So, if you want to convey what you feel about something, if you want to tell someone something, then you require a medium to transfer your thoughts to someone else. And this medium can be a language also. Okay. Now, to communicate with computer, we need to use a language that a computer understands. See, everyone understands different kind of languages, right? So for computers also, we have a different set of languages that it will understand. In this chapter, we are going to study different computer languages. Now coming to the program, these languages are used to write the set of instructions, and these set of instructions are known as program. So a program is a set of instructions that tells computer what to do. Okay. Now the process of writing specific instruction in a computer language is known as programming. So program is basically a set of instruction, and the process of writing these programs is known as programming. And to write a program, any programmer or a coder will require some kind of language. All right, so this is the relationship between your language, program, and programming. Now let us discuss four basic types of your computer languages. So we have divided these computer languages into generations. Okay, so there are four basic generation: first, second, third, and fourth. So let us first discuss the first generation languages. Okay, so first generation language is also known as machine language. Why? Because when the scientists or the computer engineers started writing programs, the initial language was known as machine language, and this is the only language, beta, which is directly understood by the machine, because computer is ultimately a machine. And if we are saying machine language, that means it is something that is directly recognized by the computers, right? So it is the only language which a computer understands. And when I'm teaching, I want all of you to please make your classroom notes and you write the main points as I have written in this PPT, right? It is expressed in the binary code. Binary means two. Okay, so two means it is in the format of 0 and 1s. Only two digits are used in the programming, 0 and 1. Let me tell you what is the concept of 0 and 1 here. Okay, but a computer will perform each and every task with the help of circuits. Motherboard is a circuit only, which is the main part of your CPU, and CPU is the brain of computer, which is doing all the calculations and all the work, right? So in the circuit, it is either off, it is it is in the off state or in the on state. So 0 will represent when the circuit is in off state, and 1 will represent when the circuit is in on state. Okay, so this on off is basically known as your 0 and 1. It was not user friendly. Okay, supposedly I ask you to learn a 2-page code which is in the form of 0 and 1. You are likely to make or commit mistakes. In order, you may skip 1 0, you may add double one instead of single one, right? So it was not that user friendly because scientists were not that compatible with these languages. It was a low level language. And now, despite all these things, that it was not user friendly and it was time consuming, there are some advantages also. Like, its advantage includes its fast speed. Okay, it is fast because it is directly understood by the computer. There is nothing in between that is going to translate that language, right? And second thing is low memory utilization. Okay, supposedly, if I ask you to tell me the table of 2, then it will be very easy. And supposedly I ask you to tell me the table of 19, you may take some time. Your memory will be utilized more in case of table of 19 instead of table of 2, right? So if anything is directly understood by the computers and if it is very easy, then memory utilization will be low, right? And there the biggest drawback of this first generation language was that it was not at all user friendly, and second was that it was not portable. Now let me tell you what is portability. But a portable means when you can carry one thing from one place to another without losing its contents, right? Like pen drives are used, CDs are used, okay, emails, you can transfer anything from anywhere, any image you want to email to someone, okay. So this is known as portability. But these machine language programs, supposedly I have to write a program to add two numbers, okay, that I have written in this computer, and the same numbers are required to be added in another computer, then I was not supposed to carry those programs from one machine to another because they were highly machine dependent. Okay, so two disadvantages I have told in this first generation, that it was not at all user friendly and it was machine dependent. And two advantages also I have told you, that it was the processing was very fast and it was having very low memory utilization. Okay, so two advantages, two disadvantages, and in the explanation I have told you it is basically made up of zeros and ones. That is known as your binary language. 0 means off state, 1 means on state, as well as this is the only language which a computer understands. Okay, so this was all about your first generation language that you need to remember. Next is second generation languages. Okay, so the first generation languages were known as your machine languages, right? And second generation languages are known as your assembly languages. And let me tell you, out of these four generation languages that we are studying in this chapter, first two, that is first generation and second generation, are low level languages, right? Third generation and fourth generation are known as your high level languages. All right, so it uses mnemonic codes. Okay, although its spelling is MNEMONIC, but we pronounce it as mnemonic. M is silent here. Okay, so mnemonic codes in place of 0 and 1, that means it we came one step nearer to user friendly languages, right? Rather than learning 0 and 1 formats, we can now learn the mnemonic codes. Now what are mnemonic codes? Beta, if you have to do addition, so rather than writing 0101 or addition, we can use the short forms like add. For subtraction we can use sub. For multiplication mul. Okay, for move mov. For loading one module from another module in a computer, we can use LOAD, load. Okay, these things I have written on your screen also. Okay, load, if you have to store a number, right? Then these things are known as, these small short codes are known as mnemonic codes. Okay, it was more user friendly than machine language. Naturally, when I'm saying add, you will definitely understand that ma'am is going to add something, right beta? So these are more easy to understand and prepare the um, programs, right? These are also machine dependent. All right, so machine dependency was the major characteristic of your low level languages. All right, it requires assembler to translate assembly language into machine language. Now, as I told you that the only language, supposedly I ask you one question, that out of four generation languages, which language is the only language that is directly understood by the computer? So that is the first generation, and that is machine language, right? So if this language, assembly language, is not directly understood by the computer, then we require some kind of software that is going to translate assembly language program into the machine language program, right? So the software is known as assembler. Beta, I will be teaching you three types of language translators. Okay, for assembly language we have assembler, and compiler and interpreter are going to be discussed later in these slides. But let me tell you, when I'm telling you about assembler, compiler, or interpreter, do not imagine in your head that it is going to be some kind of device. Okay, so it is a software only. Okay, so assembler is a software that is going to translate assembly language into machine language. Okay, it is a low level language, again, as I told you. So first two generation are low level and last two are high level. Okay, so the advantage is that it is more user friendly. Okay, and disadvantage is that it is still not portable. That means it is machine dependent, it is low level language, as well as assembler is required to convert the assembly language into machine language, right? Next is beta third generation. Like, okay, so this is the PPT where I am showing. It is a program. As I told you, program is ultimately a software only, right? So program that is used to convert assembly level program, that is source code, into machine level language program, that is object code. So source means the input. Okay, so input is your assembly level language program, and object code means your output, right? So assembly level program is being fed into the assembler, and then it is being given to uh, it produces the output, which is known as your machine code, right? Next is your third generation languages. Now this generation was the generation where the high level languages came into existence. They were very user friendly, okay, as well as they were very simple to be understood by the human beings or the programmers. Okay, now supposedly I ask you a question that which generation language or which language is the most user friendly language, then the answer would be third generation out of fourth generation, because it was the first time when the programmers were happy rather than the computer, right? So we now these are platform independent also. You can write a program in your computer, and that same program can run on multiple machines other than your computer only. These high level languages are quite similar to English languages, and the examples of these high level languages are C, C++, Java, Python. All these are your third generation or high level languages. And these high level languages will also require some kind of translator, because if we are moving a step nearer to the more user friendliness, then we are coming more distant from the machine friendliness, right? So to make it understood by the computer, we will require two more softwares. And why we require these two? Because interpreter and compiler are different in their working nature. Okay, that I'm going to discuss later. But first, let us discuss what is the difference between high level languages and low level languages. High level languages are used to solve problems. Okay, low level means like understood by the computers without the need of translation. All right, easily understood by the humans. High level languages uses English like words. It is easy to locate and identify the errors in high level language as compared to 0101 format, right? And high level languages must be translated before computer can understand it. But in low level, it is difficult to spot the errors. It takes up lot of space to write down. Okay, difficult for humans to read and understand. Okay, machine language cannot be translated, but assembly language requires translation. Okay, and assembly language is also a low level languages. So these were the basic difference between high level and low level languages. Okay, now we are going to discuss interpreter and compiler. Let me tell you, for the high level languages, these two language processors are used to convert high level language into low level language. All right, here in this diagram you will see beta that a high level programming language that can only be understood by the humans, this is fed into an interpreter and it is being converted into low level language that only machine can understand, right? Now this interpreter and compiler. Now let us discuss what is the difference between these two. With a high level languages use interpreter program to convert source code into object code line by line. So the basic difference between your interpreter and compiler is interpreter is going to convert your code line by line, and compiler will take the whole code at once. Suppose you have written 5 lines. Okay, so compiler will take all 5 lines at once and then it will execute it or run it. Then it will give you errors or results. But interpreter will take 1 line at once and then it will produce the error or the result. Understood? If it is clear, then only it will move to the second line, right? It gives result or error after every line. Hence, interpreters are slower as compared to compilers. Okay, now the question can rise from here also. As you know that it is going to be an objective test, so you have to remember all the concepts that I'm going to teach you. Okay, so which among the interpreter or compiler is fastest? Okay, so you will tell me compiler is faster than interpreter, right? So compiler is used to convert the source code into object code all at once. Okay, result or error is given after the execution of whole code, hence compiler executes faster. Okay beta, so this was the basic difference between your interpreter and compiler. Let me tell you. Okay, and the question can be like, which language processor is used to convert low level language into machine language? So it must be your assembler only, because assembly language is a low level language and assembler is used to convert assembly language into machine language. Okay, and do not get confused that when I'm talking about low level, I'm only talking about machine, because assembly language is also a low level language only. All right, and if I ask the question that which high level language translator is fastest, again the answer will be compiler. Okay, so you have to be very sure that for low level language we have studied only one language translator, that is assembler. For high level language we have studied two types of language translators, that is interpreter and compiler. Okay, next is beta, this is the like diagram which is showing that source code which is fed into the compiler, so whole thing it is taking at once. Okay, and in case of interpreter, as you know, see, first line was taken, okay, statement interpretation, and then interpreter is going to do the interpretation, and then statement execution, then the flow of control will go to the second. Okay, so one by one, all lines of code will be processed. But here, everything is going all collectively into the compiler. Next is your fourth generation languages. These are the most user-friendly languages. That means where the user don't even have to sometimes write the codes and you are done. Okay, maybe you have the ready-made code and you just have to drag and drop, or maybe you have a voice assistant that is only going to assist you whenever you are commanding with the help of your voice. Okay, so these are the most user friendly languages. These are also machine independent. Okay, it requires minimum user skill to obtain results. Like in case of your scratch, you don't have to learn all these codes, you don't have to see, everything is in front of you. Scratch is like a puzzle game only. Okay, you have everything in front of you, you just have to mix and match the codes in order to run a program, right? So you don't have to have the major programming skills to run that, right? It require okay, these are also known as application development tool. Okay, because these are readily available, these are the small modules that are required to be connected together. So these are very easy and very helpful in developing the new applications also. Okay, so this was all about your all fourth generation languages. Thank you so much everyone. Now I'm going to take your